Jade Washaw, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage. Gilbert and Michelle are with us. Hey, guys, welcome.
Hi.
Good to have you. Where do you guys live?
Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, great place. Well, welcome to Nashville. Good to have you. All the way up here to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
$113,417.
Way to go. And how long did this take you?
39 months.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
We always hovered around 165, 170, between there.
Okay, cool. What do y'all do for a living?
So I'm in sales, and then I also have a part-time counseling job on the side. I'm a 1099 through a psychiatry office.
Great.
And I do IT consulting in Tucson.
Great. Very cool. What kind of debt was your $113,400?
It was our house.
That was our house.
Whoa! Looking at weird people. I love it. Way to go, you weirdos. What's this house worth? What's it worth?
I think around 300 now. We're not quite sure.
Woo!
Yeah.
And it's paid for.
Yeah.
paid
Love
for.
it.
Man,
Yes.
how old are you two?
I'm 43.
I'm 44.
And you have a paid for house.
We have a paid for house.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's
Have it
great.
really settled in on you how unusual you are, seriously? I mean,
little
very
bit by
few
little bit.
44-year-olds have a paid for house.
Every day kind of settles in a little bit more. Like when I open up the door to do laundry, it's all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, we own our house. Nobody can take this from us.
Man, that's so cool.
And we were
Yeah.
able to see it build because we took a yardstick and numbered it, and so that way we could track it. And every night when we ate dinner together, we could see where that was at, and it was there every night, showing where we were at and also where we were going. Sometimes that felt like forever.
Yeah.
And other times we would put large amounts and we're like, whoa, look how far that just went. And so you could really see it with the yardstick that we had.
A little bit like parenting. The days are short, the days are long and the years are short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So, were you with us before the home payoff journey, in the debt-free journey as well?
Yeah, so when I first met Gilbert, I was in grad school racking up student loans, and I had a card loan, and he was 100% debt-free, house paid for, and even in that time, he actually bought another property cash. And so he was kind of my first, like, how does this happen? And I did think at that time, like, this, well, he can do it, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. And then I graduated, and I knew I'd take a pay cut, but as I was getting job offers at counseling therapy offices and everything, I looked at the numbers. I'm like, I can't eat. I have all this student loan, and now I can't eat. And we were doing numbers at the tables, and I sat there and I cried and I cried. And so that's when I started realizing I'll pay off my car loan. That will be the very first thing. And it gave me my first, like, win, as you say. And then after that, I was like, what if I didn't have my school loan? What would that feel like? And I remember I had a classmate. She had this, like, little strange envelope system. And I kind of started Googling, like, how to get out of debt. And, of course, you came up. And from that moment on, it was definitely a spiritual thing, because I sat on my couch and I read it. And I was like, why not? Why can't I do it? And then from that moment on, I just went forward. And I think it was 24 months, almost to the exact day of paying off a little over $80,000.
$80,000.
Wow.
It's just student loan debt that she did.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of her.
Hey,
Wow.
man. And then
Yeah.
how long have y'all been married?
March will be 4 years.
4 years.
Okay.
in March.
So after you get
Wow.
married, then we look at the house
Then
and
we
go,
looked at the house
we're doing
together.
this in 39 months. Ding, ding.
Yeah. So we knew we wanted to pay it off fast, and we were kind of building a plan and getting a little bit aggressive. And then 2020, we're like, okay, we're going to really go at it. And then obviously the pandemic happens. And I get furloughed for almost 3 months from there. And of course, at that time, you're like, I don't know if I'm going to have a job when I go back. I mean, we rode that out really nicely because we were out of debt. But we thought, what if this house wasn't here? How much better would that be? And from that moment on, I went back to work, and we just went gung-ho from there.
We stayed gazelle intense. I know that's not necessarily the plan to have to, but we wanted to stay that just because we knew how much freedom that would give us.
Amen.
Yeah. So the last 12 months is, I think we paid off around $75,000.
Oh, most of it.
Wow.
In 12
Most of it
months.
was in the last,
Yeah.
yeah.
We sold.
Once you can see the finish line, it's weird. You get geared up.
Yeah. We ended up selling one of his stocks, and then we had a little bit over in our savings, and then we took my car fund. I think it was like the last month. We're like, let's just do it. Let's get rid of it.
So, who supported you in this process, or who thought you were crazy? Well, it's either one of the two.
Well, Gilbert was definitely my biggest fan, I guess you could say, throughout the process, and he really supported me. And friends and family were there. They're like, okay, cool, that's great, you know. Even had some friends like, good for you, but it's just not for me.
But they don't have a paid off house.
No. No. Yeah.
Way to go, you guys.
So yeah, we met later on in our life for us, and so my story a little bit for my journey happened well before then, in my early 20s, and part of my story is a little bit similar to yours, Dave, where I had lots of real estate, but I kind of went about it in the wrong way with large amounts of debt. And then in 08 happened. In 09 happened, and I was able to get out from some of that, but not all of it. But it was just enough to still bury me in that. But I learned so much from that, and from that on, I was never again. Yeah. And so I rebuilt from the ground up. But from then on, I paid cash for my house, and it was a small house. I went from a nice custom home. It's called the Oro Valley area next to Tucson. I got rid of that, and I went to a little 2-bedroom townhouse. Just because I'm like, I'm never going back to debt. And so even though it was my primary home and I was affording it, I knew if I just sold that and I started from scratch from then on, it was just going to set me in a good spot. And I did that, and I was able to build some wealth in some of that time on my own before we had met in some of that. And so it was a spot when we met, you know, you hear some people of like, well, on the relationship side, would you take on someone and meet someone in debt and any of that? But I knew who she was as a person.
She was working it.
Yeah, she was who she was as a person, and she was someone worth going through that experience with. Even though I had gotten out of it and we weren't married yet, I didn't partake in that. And it was her wins. She ended up winning herself and go fighting through that to get out of her student loan debts.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well done.
With the house paid off now, I think that did throw us into the Baby Steps Millionaires from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey.
I love to hear it.
Not only do you have a paid for house at 44, but you're Baby Steps millionaires.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
Wow. Way to go, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be free?
Oh, sometimes words can't even say it.
Yeah, one of the things that was just before we were still working and we saw like what was happening with student loans, and a bunch of them were getting forgiven, there was frustration at the table one night from that. And we're like, we worked so hard for that and it's just going to get written off. But it was like, but look at who it made us. Like, you can't just be given that. You have to work through that and become that.
Yeah.
And that changed our perspective on that then.
No amount of money can actually build those characteristics.
Yeah, it's who
No
are
pun
you
intended.
becoming? And so for me to live in a country where there's freedom, but to my biblical basis, it means for me to the debt is slave to the lender. And once I really put that principle in my life, I'm like, I want to live a free life. That means I have to stay out of debt. And I encourage anyone else, even if you're just playing with that, you feel like you're just managing it because you make a large amount of money. I hear a lot of people that make a lot, but they just manage it.
That is one of the big differences between doing stuff Ramsey and just doing financial stuff. Because we're so into you and who you are, the relationships, we're into the character, into that whole process, as much as we are, here's the tactics for getting out of debt. That what we end up doing, and it's almost unintentional, but it's also a necessary part of the journey if it's going to be permanent, is we're not only leading you to get out of debt, we're helping you transform.
Yeah.
To become something different
Yeah.
in the process.
Who are
and
you
that
becoming?
happens so often in that process. Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It's not merely paying off debt. It's a complete metamorphosis, a complete transformation. You guys are incredible. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Hey, we've got the Live and Give bundle for you. It's the Total Money Makeover book, the Baby Steps Millionaires book, and the Financial Peace University membership. Way to go. Gilbert and Michelle, house and everything, 44 years old, Tucson, Arizona, $113,000 paid off in 39 months, making $165. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Woo! Man, that is awesome. This is The Ramsey Show.